Hello, gorgeous. My name is Jessica Angeleri, and today we are speaking about the ways that I healed my feminine energy and how you can also start this journey of healing your feminine and coming into great appreciation for her. I'm going to discuss the pillars or the anchors that I use in my offerings, like Feminine Remembrance, Come Home to Yourself, and how we can use these anchors or these pillars as a way to connect with your feminine energy, to help you heal your sexual energy, and to come into this deep relaxation and connection with your body, and to bring pleasure into your work, into your life, into your business, because that is the gift of the feminine, is pleasure, inviting in pleasure and compassion and love and softness into the things that you do. But for many of us, the feminine has been in hiding. Our voice has been in hiding. Our radiance, our truth has been in hiding. And for a lot of us, we have feared what the feminine is really about and what she has to offer us, what she can reveal to us. We've ignored this very important, potent work of really returning to the essence of you. The truth is, the journey of the feminine isn't love and light all the time. She's actually a deep dive into the darkness, and we're reminded of that as well every month in our menstrual cycle. As if we look at our bleeding time, that is a very feminine energy where we turn inward. But we've been sold that the feminine is something different, that it is about light all the time. The more that you allow yourself to dive into the darkness and face these parts of you, the darkness being parts of you of shame, of guilt, of anger, these pieces that have been suppressed even for centuries, just so we can try and fit in or try and be accepted or loved, or just to be appreciated in this society. The more you can allow yourself to go there and face these parts of you, the more you actually heal the parts of you and bring compassion to the parts that have been asking for your attention, for that is where the magic really lies. So yes, the more that you do this work of the feminine, the more you will be revealed of your truth in this work and bring change to your life. Usually we are guided into this work of healing the feminine because we have maybe gotten to a point in our life where we have felt exhausted and we are done with something. There is a sense of, I've had enough of maybe overgiving in your relationships or attracting unhealthy, wounded men, or we're done with listening to everyone else's ideas of how we need to live our life. And we realize that most of our life has meant a lot of doing and action, constantly giving ourselves until we are burnt out. And that's where the feminine awareness comes into it. She brings all of this to your attention to bring change to your life. So you might be here because you're curious about this work of the feminine, and you might like this work of the feminine, and you realize that in your life that it is, you have maybe been a lot in your masculine, in this drive, in this action, this doing energy, which is the masculine. And we have such a long history of anger towards the masculine. With that has come a tremendous amount of guilt as well, because we don't want to feel angry. anymore. We feel guilty for feeling that anger. And we feel guilty for maybe some of the behaviors that we've had towards the masculine. Something before I continue with this talk, I want to bring to your attention is that the masculine and feminine energies can be confusing, and we hear these terms a lot now. I feel that these terms are very useful, but at the same time, we need to drop the idea that the masculine is just about men. So when we're talking about feminine energy, it's in both genders, right? It's about the receiving and flowing, this constant flow of creating and this energy of receiving, of going inward. It is about the body. It's a sense of sensitivity and love. And for a lot of us women, we do thrive in this place. We do feel happiest here. Whereas the masculine energy is about the doing, acting, persisting. It's this directive energy. And then there is another level where we can speak about Shiva and Shakti, where a lot of ancient cultures speak about this. Shakti, which is all about your flow of life, flow of energy. It's this feeling of constantly feeling alive. So that's the feminine. And feeling into this aspect of receiving, and also moving from receiving and doing. So moving from masculine to feminine constantly. Whereas Shiva, masculine, is pure presence, like an empty sky, consciousness, stillness. So it's a very broad principle. I won't get into it anymore today. I have done a video around this, though, discussing the different light and dark energies of your feminine and masculine, which you can check out as well. Now, I hear a lot of women say, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from being in my masculine all the time. But the thing that I wanted to point out was that you are not necessarily exhausted from the masculine. Yes, that can be the case sometimes, but we have to stop seeing the masculine as a negative thing. Instead, we need to come into healing the feminine first, and then from this place, we then bring healing and light to the healthy masculine, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be in as well. And we require this energy for our feminine to thrive. And this embrace of the healthy masculine occurs when you start to bring healing and acceptance of your feminine. And it happens naturally, but consciously. And then here you realize that one doesn't exist without the other. So you are exhausted maybe from the hate and resentment of being in the masculine, maybe from the anger and hate towards the pain that you have felt, most likely coming from men, right? From your past. So there may need to be some healing around the way you have felt with men in the past. And we can go back further as well with the relationship that you've had with your father growing up. And maybe that's why you're exhausted. Maybe you are exhausted from not feeling understood and heard by the masculine in men. And of course, this society, which is mostly running on the doing and production and drive and intellect rather than feeling, it doesn't support our feminine. It doesn't. And that feeling of pleasure and knowing how to listen to our intuition, it doesn't support us. So we're facing a lot of these different things, and that's why it's important to come into this great love for our feminine energy. And we can bring so much healing to the feminine when we realize that maybe we're holding on to guilt of how we're treating ourselves and how we are connecting with our heart or not. Maybe you can't find a way to accept yourself fully, and that's why you're exhausted. It's not because solely of the masculine. Maybe you're hiding yourself small and trying to prove yourself all the time, proving your worth, proving with all of your thinking, and you're trying not to feel what is really here, the feminine, right? And you might be trying to fit in to certain boxes and paradigms, and that is what is exhausting us. So the more you resist this feeling of what's really here, the more we feel exhausted. Your feminine will show you what you need to feel and then bring that to light. And she will show you where maybe you are holding tension in the body. This is how we bring healing and spaciousness for us to really feel into our magic and our wisdom. So the feminine will teach us this flow, how to flow with our emotions rather than suppressing. She will help you when we heal and come into connection with our feminine. She will help you to create space for emotions to move through us in a healthy way, to give ourselves permission to be with all that is there. And that this is where you unlock your life, where you unlock the goddess within, where you unlock everything, where you unlock pleasure, where you unlock love. So my love, the more that we hide away and suppress the feelings, the emotions, our sensuality, these beautiful gifts of the feminine, the more we feel stuck, the more we feel exhausted. So where are you holding back? Where are you blocking yourself from really experiencing your wildness? Where are you not allowing anger to be felt? Where are you suppressing shame or guilt? We can start to really heal these aspects of ourselves in containers that support us to face these aspects of us, where you are invited to hold yourself, where you are guided with so much love and compassion. Love is what will heal. So we need spaces to experience love and compassion and be held in spaces where we can focus on that. So be immersed in feminine practices to move these stuck emotions, or stuck sensations, or those feelings of anger and shame. Be immersed in containers which support this, to heal these aspects of ourselves, to allow spaciousness in the body in a way that doesn't have to feel overwhelming or intimidating or scary, to move these emotions, because we do hold a lot in our lower chakras. We hold a lot in our womb. So we really need to create space and give ourselves permission to feel and allow what is there to move through us in healthy ways. And that can be done with feminine practices through your sensuality, which is really about making sense of our world and what is occurring in our body and what is occurring around us. This is what sensuality is. And it will help you, sensual practices will help you to shift the way that you might be feeling in that moment into bringing presence into your life, to feeling present with what is there. So your sensuality will be a beautiful gift to help heal your feminine, to help bring openness, to be with your feminine, to be with the dark emotions and move them in a really beautiful, healthy way. So I'm going to share some of the pillars or anchors that I use in my programs and offerings like Feminine Remembrance, Come Home to Yourself. And we use feminine tools to bring in presence. Again, this is how we integrate feminine and masculine energies. So we can practice presence by checking in with how we are holding ourselves in the moment. Where are you feeling tight? Are you feeling tension? Are you clenching in this moment? So where can you come into your full felt sense, your full embodied presence in this moment, and offer yourself some sensual, soft, gentle practices or anchors to just to come into that place where it does feel good. This is how we can start to bring healing and spaciousness for your feminine to glow and to thrive. Now, remember, we cannot experience pleasure and whole body orgasms, or that, to really move through our day-to-day life, whether it's in our business or in our relationships, from a place of juice and goodness and beauty, when we are clenched and when we're in the mind all the time. This limits our eroticism. This stops our magnetism. This blocks our creativity and our vitality. So really allow presence and softness and sensuality to move through your body, to allow tension to soften and melt away. And the first way we can do this, one of the first anchors to really bring that healing into your body, is to allow breath in. Breath is a beautiful way to meet with spirit, to commune with spirit, to allow openness in your body, to soften, to melt in your body, to bring presence. The more we practice this surrendered state through our breath, the more we are easily able to cultivate pleasure, the more we're able to feel ease, the more we are able to feel embodied, which is crucial in feminine work. So when we bring consciousness to our breath and how we are breathing, we invite in more, we create space, we receive wisdom, we receive our messages from the divine. So we need to bring in breath into the body to also feel relaxed in the body, and to also activate your life force energy, which is what brings creativity into your life. Now, another important pillar or anchor that I have used for the past decade and that I use in my offerings as well is touch. Touch is what helps you to fully surrender and, again, bring in ease into your life. Touch is what helps you to cultivate safety, to really anchor down from the mind and into the body. The thing is, a lot of us haven't learned how to self-soothe or to come down from the overactive mind. So bringing in intentional touch with your hands are an extension of your heart. You communicate with your body, I'm safe right now, and I'm safe, I'm anchored, and I'm ready to receive. So touch is this really beautiful anchor to connect with your feminine, to connect with your goddess within. The key to receiving and moving energy for radiance and happiness and beauty and ease is to feel safe in your skin. So we can start to practice feeling safe through our intentional sacred touch. And now remember as well, a way we feel intimate with our partner is through touch. So this is why I love to bring in practices of self-love, like the breast massage, which is such a gorgeous, loving way to bring not only healing, but to help you remember what pleasure feels like in the most sacred way. Another anchor or pillar that I have been using and devoting my work to, and what I use in my programs as well, is sound. When we make sound and practice using sound, we can understand as well where our sacral chakra may be blocked. Our sexual center, so our womb and our yoni, is directly linked to our throat. So when we start to experiment with sound, we can also understand where we're feeling resistance around that. And the resistance can sometimes be linked to some of the shame. Shame might come up, shame in using your voice, shame in setting boundaries. So sound is the fastest way to move energy around. Sound is, we know we use it in sexual experiences. It's a natural way of life, wanting to be expressed fully through you. So sound is so healing. It can be in your breath, it can be in words of affirmations, it can be in a sigh. It's so important to bring in sound, especially through your breath. As I said, for a lot of us women, we are afraid to use our voice. Our voice has been internalized, and we feel a lot of shame in using our voice in ways, as I mentioned, to place boundaries, or using our voice to communicate from our heart. So that's why it's important to be in sisterhood spaces where we can practice feeling heard with our voice. Because even in sisterhood spaces, we are not really speaking up because we don't feel safe to do so. So that's why really safe, sacred sisterhood ceremonies and circles are such a wonderful way to practice and experiment using our voice. So sister, how do you feel about making sounds in and out of the bedroom? How do you feel about speaking your truth? The truth that is aligned with your heart and your soul. Now, the next pillar, the anchor that I want to mention when really working with your feminine and healing your feminine and returning back to your womanhood, is integrating movement. Now, if you know me, I love movement. I love dance. I danced Brazilian samba for about 10 years. And all of these anchors and pillars that I use in my work and my healing programs, the one that I love is movement. Movement is what ignites your Shakti, your feminine flow, your life force. When we move our body, we allow all the facades to drop, and we start to feel present. We start to allow for fluidity without worrying about how something needs to look. And that happens in conscious, intentional movement practices where the movement it's not based on steps, it's unrationalized, it's not linear. And this is the most beautiful way to connect with your body. It's a great way to tap into your sensuality, to be present with what is there, to move those stuck emotions, especially from your womb, your sacral chakra, and move them intentionally up and out. And when you're moving and you're connecting, and then you're integrating the sound and your breath and your touch as well with all of that, you start to connect with your senses and you feel yourself become alive. You become present with that, and your mind becomes clearer. You start to receive the messages of your soul. You start to receive the wisdom of your womb. Remember, we can't experience pleasure and ease when we're constantly feeling in control, when we're always in our head, when we're moving from the worries, and then we don't trust ourselves. So integrating all of these juicy, delicious, feminine elements of movement, sound, touch, and breath. We start to learn how to move from the mind, come into the body. We start to learn how to move our sexual energy around, to move those feelings of shame, guilt, and anger. And we come back into a rested state. We come back into our embodied presence. We stop repeating patterns of going into overdrive. We stop waiting for or looking for the answers outside of us. We stop blaming. Instead, we come back into presence, into love, into holding ourselves with so much gentleness, with so much appreciation and compassion for all the aspects of ourselves. Because the truth is, your feminine is in hiding, and she's in hiding when we're trying to be someone and something that we are not. When we continuously are trying to prove our worth, trying to prove ourselves. We don't have to do that anymore, sister. And that's why I invite you to start experimenting with these 4 beautiful elements. And of course, if you need some support in this, especially in sisterhood circles where we really ignite our feminine together, then I'm here to hold your hand in that. Remember, I have my 7-day free program, Erotic Feminine Embodiment, which is filled with feminine practices for you to start this journey of healing your feminine. And if you want to be held in a deeper, sacred way, I'm here for you as well. I'm here to hold your hand. I have my Feminine Remembrance Come Home to Yourself program, which is a delicious way to do all of that, to really return to your truth, to your womanhood, to that place of great love, to be in service of spirit, of the divine, of your soul. Thank you, my love, for being here. Thank you for watching. And if you loved this video, make sure to subscribe and to like. My name is Jessica Angelari, and thank you so much. All my love to you. Mwah.